Hi everyone, how is going on? This is your Inzam sir back with another session of tag question. Today we are going to learn about tag question of assertive sentence. Alright, okay, let's start. To form a tag question, we need an auxiliary verb, a subject pronoun that we have learned in the last class. Now, remember, if the main clause has an auxiliary verb in it, we use the same verb in the tag question. Like, it was hot yesterday, wasn't it? He had forgotten his wallet, hadn't he? So you can see, in these two sentences, the only verb is the auxiliary verb. So we are taking it was hot yesterday, was, and in the second sentence, he had forgotten his wallet, had. Okay? Next, if there is no auxiliary verb, that happens in the present simple and past simple tense, we know, then we will use do or does or did. Okay? For example, they live in Dhaka, don't they? You can see the only verb is live, so we are taking do. Dybala represents Argentina, doesn't he? Shakib Al Hasan played for KKR, didn't he? You can see the verb played is in past indefinite form, so we are taking did. Alright? Well, there is always an exception. Here we can see an exception, that is, in an affirmative statement, if the subject is I and the auxiliary verb is am, the verb changes to aren't or ain't in the tag question. Okay? That is, if we are writing am not, the contraction will be not amn't, rather it will be aren't or ain't. For example, I'm fine, aren't I? Or ain't I? You cannot write amn't I, that is wrong. There is another example, that is, I'm a little tired, aren't I? Or ain't I? Alright? Now, in an affirmative statement, if the auxiliary verb is only have or has or had, then the contraction of tag in Old English is haven't, hasn't or hadn't, but in case of modern English, it is don't or doesn't or didn't. So you can use both of them, but if you want to make it better, or if you want to try it in modern English, you have to write don't or doesn't or didn't. For example, I have miles to go, don't I? Or if anyone writes haven't I, that will be correct too. She has a baby, doesn't she? Or hasn't she? Nahid had an accident, didn't he? Or hadn't he? Alright? Moving on to the next slide, that is, if the sentence has never, hardly, rarely, barely, scarcely, seldom, neither, little, few, so these kind of words, then the statement is negative. Alright? So the tag question will be affirmative. It may seem the sentence is positive, but in reality, the meaning of that sentence is negative. For example, you never went there, did you? We can see there is no not, but never is negative, alright? And since the verb is in past indefinite form, we are using did. Next, he hardly works, does he? If you write doesn't he, then that will be incorrect. Now, one thing we always get confused, that is hardly and hard. We say he works hard or I work hard, আর আমরা যখন বাংলায় বলি তখন আমরা বলে ফেলি যে ও অনেক হার্ডলি কাজ করছে। No, if you say hardly, then it will become he is not working at all. But you wanted to say he works very hard. So make sure you are correcting the right form, okay? So if you say he hardly works, that will be does he? He is rarely seen in the school. That means he is not seen in the school at all. So the tag question will be is he? I like neither of them. Do I? there was little water, which means there was no water. So the tag question will be was there. The next rule is if the subject is indefinite pronoun and it refers to any person such as one, everyone, everybody, somebody, none, nobody, all, etc., the pronoun of the tag question will be they. Alright? For example, one should do one's duty. So here one, it refers to a person, right? So the tag question will be shouldn't they? Next, everyone is present, aren't they? Nobody believes a liar, do they? Here we know the subject is nobody and it is negative. That's why we are not taking don't. We will use do. Alright? The last one is all are well, aren't they? Now, if the subject is indefinite pronoun and it refers to a non-living thing such as anything, everything, something, nothing, all, etc., the pronoun of the tag question will be it. Alright? For example, everything will be fine, won't it? Anything can happen, can't it? Nothing is impossible, is it? All is well, isn't it? Now, if you look closely, you will see I have written all in both the rules, and there is similar kind of sentence, all are well and all is well. So what's the difference? The only difference is all are well. Here all refers to person, so we will take they. And in the second example, all is well, all refers to non-living things. So think about any context where everything is all right. So we will say all is well, isn't it? Now, if there are two subjects in a sentence containing and between them, then the pronoun of the tag question will be they. For instance, Meena and Raju solve every problem, don't they? Here you can see the subject is Meena and Raju. So the subject is plural and the verb is also in plural form, that is solve. Now we will write don't they. Alright? The director and the producer are coming, aren't they? Here the director is one person and the producer is another person. That's why we are saying aren't they? The next one is the director and producer is coming. Isn't he or isn't she? Now there is a problem. That is the director and producer. If you know the rules of article, you know whenever there is only one the or one the and there are two nouns, the subject is singular. That means here the director and the producer are the same person. I mean the director and producer. That's why we are calling the director and producer. And in the previous sentence, the director and the producer. Here the director is one person and the producer is another person. But in the next sentence, the director and the producer is the same person. Okay? Next, if there are two subjects in a sentence containing with, along with, together with, coupled with, as well as accompanied by, and not in between them, then the main verb follows the first subject. Therefore, while making tag question, we will take the pronoun of the first subject. For example, we, along with our teacher, are going there, aren't we? Here you can see there are two subjects, that is we and our teacher, but the verb is taking or the verb is following the first subject, that is we are, and that's why in tag question we are writing aren't we. The next sentence is Meena accompanied by Raju solves every problem. So here the verb is following Meena, so we will write doesn't she? My father and not my mother watches cricket, doesn't he? Though there is and, we will not write they, because after and there is not, and the rule is if there is and not, the verb follows the first subject. My father and not my mother watches cricket. So the tag question is, doesn't he? Alright? So this was all about today's session. Thank you for your attention. I will be back with another session of tag question where we will know more about the other rules. Till then, Allah Hafiz and take care of yourself.